Ladies and gentlemen, it's time, man. I swear sometimes these franchises we do be a little too long. Some be good. This was actually a short one. But after about the second one, felt a little long. So coming to the last one of the primary version of this franchise before we get into the spin-offs. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about some Shrek Forever After. I'm not joining alone. Find out who's joining me when we come back from this intro. We'll something. You know what it is.
Oh, it's so heart-wrenching.
That's right, Shrek Forever After. I'm the executive consultant, and we're going to talk about this last version of the Shrek series. But let's bring on my fellow co-hosts. We'll start off, ladies first, with none other than E. Boogie, who's also wearing some shades of her own.
Good afternoon, evening, midnight, whatever time you're watching this. Hello, welcome.
That's such a great greeting. And also, we have, for closure, none other than Vic. What's going on? Synopsis for this movie. I don't remember it, so I'm going to make it up off the dome, man. That's what I do, right? The dome. Okay. Shrek is happy inside of his little home there in the swamp, and then all of a sudden they throw parties for these little brats of children, his first birthday party. Some people are not really afraid of him anymore. They're all happy to see him. He's upset. He feels like he lost his ogre status. Hey, we all feel that way sometimes. We're not respected as the person we were anymore. He gets upset, blows off a little steam about it, gets a little drunk with an eyeball for some reason, and then complains to Rumpelstiltskin about it, who's a little upset because he had to deal with the daggone parents before, that he was going to get control of the kingdom. Now he sees an opportunity to do it. Asks Shrek to create if he wants to get rid of that one day. Shrek says yes. It was the day he was born. Got some witches. Got Captain Hook involved. It was just the witches. Got some witches involved. Blah, 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 blah. Movie dragged on. That's Shrek 4. E-Boogie, we'll start with you. What you got going?
You know what? I actually kind of hate that we started with me for this movie. I'd like to, if I may, take y'all back to a time where the first Toy Story came out. Everybody was into, the realism of it all. I know personally, I really appreciated the 3D animation that Toy Story brought forth. The things that were leather looked leather. Texturally was really nice. And on top of the animation being excellent, the plot was great. The characters were lovable. There was some great development. And they carried that on through Toy Story 2, Toy Story 3, and we don't talk about Toy Story 4. No. This was the fourth installment of Shrek. And like Toy Story, it fell off. It was not giving me all that it was supposed to have. I did not feel any good feelings about any of those same beloved characters. Even Donkey worked my nerves. It was just not enjoyable whatsoever. And there was one scene that I really did appreciate in this film. And I've complained about this before, right? Shrek does the same dumb BS every movie. He demonstrates this childish behavior that you would think that he's grown out of by now, right? And he just regresses for a moment. And that moment that he regresses, puts everything in jeopardy. But there was one moment after he had already set himself up for failure for another adventure where he truly felt alone, and he pulled out of his pocket an item that shouldn't have existed in this realm. But he pulled out of his pocket a doll belonging to his child that didn't exist. In that moment, he cried. He shed a tear. I shouldn't say cry. He shed a tear. And in that moment, I really felt this story had come full circle for Shrek. From the very first film, he's like trying to demonstrate to his new friend, unwanted friend, Donkey, that he is a being with layers. He's a person, and he has feelings, and he has things he cares about, and sometimes it's just hard to shed that scary exterior in order to make a genuine connection. And in that one moment in this film, I felt that he was really mature. Like, he had gone through all of these adventures and all of these near-death experiences and jeopardizing everything experiences, and had actually come out the better for it. That is the best part of this movie to me. Everything else was not good. It felt really pandery to kids versus kind of a marriage of children and the parents. None of the characters were as lovable. I did like the idea of Fiona who rescues herself. Like, there were little tidbits throughout the film that felt good, and I had a connection with them. The badass Fiona that was like this ogre leader who unified ogres in far, far away to fight for their freedom. I love that idea, that they had something there tangible that I could not relate to, but like could hope would keep my attention. But even with that, it was like, I just hated how kind of clumsy and foot and mouth it made Shrek. He just felt dumber and just less witty overall, and clumsy, and I don't know, man. It just it was not good. And I almost wish for him to be satisfied with the fact that he could start this new life. I mean, part of why he was over it was because he's a dad. He got rushed into it. Remember, you guys were very much, well, I think Chris was very much so like, you know, the pressure of that stuff moving fast. Or Vic, was that you? That it was moving pretty fast for him. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I kind of wanted him to enjoy more of this, but it just sucked from the very beginning. Like, there were things at stake, but it was like it was immediately at stake. Like, he had one quick 3-minute montage of enjoying the deal, and even that seemed like not that great. I mean, he was scared of people again. I don't know. It's not written very well.
Well, see, from the first movie, one thing that I did say is that I wonder if this thing aged well. Why is that? Because people are no longer necessarily reading these stories to kids. Like, I don't think that many kids know about Pinocchio. You know what I mean? But to me, it was a hitter. When the Pied Piper came out, I was like, wow. But I'm not going to lie, the first person that I thought of was R. Kelly.
No!
You know, Bump and Grind, and how much that song was a hitter back then. But then now you think about it, it's like, damn, wow, that shit was, you know what I mean? So it's like, wow, you know? So, and mind you, the effect that the Pied Piper had on everybody and the way he was able to just switch it around, I thought that was just crazy. And the fact that the villain was Rumpelstiltskin, that was hilarious to me. Pinocchio, I keep mentioning Pinocchio because I think that he is like one of the underrated stars of these films. Like this Pinocchio, the stuff that he does is just oh man. And the thing, and that's the thing that I keep saying. Like, I don't know if those and though every single time he does something, Bomb the Nose comes out, you have to know that story. Like all of these things, if you know all of this stuff, then I feel like it hits better. So I'm really curious to see what the perspective is of somebody that's like 15 to 18 at this point watching these four movies. Because from my perspective, from somebody who's almost 40, at least for somebody who had the books, like had those, all right, they used to sell books with the pack of fairy tales. You know what I mean? For $5, and then you would get, it wouldn't be the real Cinderella, but it would be the real story. But the names would change so they could sell them. You know what I'm saying? And then, you would hear the story. So it's easy to connect with those things when you heard the story. You know what I mean? So like a lot of the characters they pop. So like to put it in wrestling terms, a lot of it felt like a Legends night, a Monday Night Raw. When you see all of the people and then you pop. That's what it felt like for me. You know what I mean? Maybe that's just me being old, but I really, really enjoyed it. And one thing that I thought was just hilarious when Donkey was talking to the gingerbread man, he was just like, "What you talking about, Cracker? I was dying."
All right, that was one. That was one moment to have me like, what?
Rolling, I know Eddie Murphy was happy as hell to say that. Oh my
But he's
God.
a cookie.
Yes, I know. That was great.
It was funny, but he reached.
Brilliant. That was brilliant. I was like, oh, Eddie. Man. That was great. That was just mwah! Oh, yeah, I liked it. Sorry. Yeah. I liked it.
What?
It was a good time.
I'm judging you.
Yeah.
Did you like Toy Story 4?
I haven't seen that yet. That's why I'm
Don't.
Ooh.
All right, this movie was a struggle. I hate to say it like that. I really remember watching Shrek 4 before and thinking it was better than Shrek 3. And for the most part, you found a different thing. And for the most part, I see. I see how he snuck that in there. But so I feel like, okay, it still might have been better overall, but I feel like it lost itself with trying. It lost a lot of what made it funny in the first place with the first and the second one. And this one, it felt like, hey, we want to make one last one. The third one do that well. Let's try again, but this has to be the last one. That's what we'll say. It's the closure of it. But did it feel like a closure? No. It just really felt like, as Vic would say, a money grab. And I didn't look up the financials because I really didn't care, because it was a struggle for me to get through this movie. And I'm not saying it was terrible. I'm not saying it was the worst movie ever made. I'm not saying it was the Batman. I'm saying that it was a struggle because I remember how it used to be, and watching it now, I would say, it just lost a lot of its magic, in my opinion. I did think it was a little bit interesting with the villain being Rumpelstiltskin. It was good to get out of that villain that they had before that era. It was good with the, trying to him have recreate his friendships again. But like even Puss in Boots being huge, and I get the comparison, yeah.
I thought you loved that.
I mean, when Thor did it, that shit was a
I didn't like when Thor did either. It just gets too much. But my main issue is like I'm a big fan of continuity.
Y'all are fat, sis.
And yeah, sure. Does anybody remember this character?
Isn't that Robin Hood?
No.
That ain't Robin Hood. He's little.
Hold on, why he got to pass?
He got a baby.
Why you got to pass?
Hey, that's Rumpelstiltskin.
That is Rumpelstiltskin from Shrek the Third. And this is Rumpelstiltskin from Shrek Forever After.
This one feels a little bit more racially motivated.
This one was a poor sap who everybody just laughed at and like nobody gives a crap about you. This one was, but this one was an evil intention, and all of a sudden it has magic powers.
He gives me Penguin vibe. Penguin from Gotham.
Okay, so you must be in love with the Riddler.
Which one? The first Rumple or the second Rumple?
You heard up. Wait, what'd she say?
The first Rumple or the second Rumple gives you Penguin?
The second Rumpelstiltskin.
Yeah, the second Rumple's a weirdo.
But you know what though? One thing I forgot to say was just that like a lot of this movie was like It's a Wonderful Life. Like, you know, that movie.
Yes,
Life
but not good.
But that's the thing, like if you saw that movie every year in black and white on TV and you remember that movie, this is gonna hit you like with that, because that's basically what this was as far as the story goes with him, you know. And it was like It's a Wonderful Life and The Devil's Advocate at the same time.
Whoa. Oh, what a leap.
You sign a contract and then you're like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was pretty much like a little of that. That's why I feel like it
Devil's Deal.
Yeah, like it was a little bit more for adults in that sense, where it could compare to other things. That's why I keep asking this question: how well is this aging? Because I don't think it's gonna. I think another 10 years, it's not gonna be. And I'm because
I think the first two Shreks age well. This one not so much, because most people forget about this one, and it came out 12 years ago. That's when the first one came out 21 years ago.
This one's garbage. This one and Toy Story 4, they need to lock in the vault.
I never saw Toy Story 4. Ladies and gentlemen, we are done with this segment. When we come back, we'll give our final thoughts, thumbs up and thumbs down. Find out what we're reviewing next Tuesday, as well as this Thursday coming up. Stay with us. You're watching a popular review.
Hello? Cujo!
That's why. Okay.
I've never seen Beethoven behave that way.
Word up. You know, Beethoven is the dog that I first was introduced to. I didn't know about Cujo. Everybody kept talking about Cujo, and I didn't know who that was. And now, you know what? I'm excited to see this movie.
Well, I will say this ironic because I had to kick somebody out to the hotel today because their dog almost tried to attack my housekeeper. Ooh. So it's I had a Cujo moment today. So it's ironic that we're going to review this coming up this Thursday. Next Tuesday, of course, we'll start the complete end to this franchise, of the Shrek franchise, with Puss in Boots, until we have to revisit it again because the sequel comes out in a couple months. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Apollo View Entertainment. I'm the executive consultant. Over there is E-Boogie, and down below is Closure. Let's talk about our final thoughts. Thumbs up, thumbs down. E-Boogie, once again, we're starting with you. I think we already know what it's going to be, but thumbs up, thumbs down.
I think I might surprise you. As I've said, this movie sucked. And I think the most accurate and fitting way to rate this movie is that it comes out just as it goes in, which is corny. It was not good. It was not barely funny. It had 2 moments where I actually chuckled. It was just not enjoyable. It was for sure a cash grab. And I really want to know how much Cameron Diaz made for this, because she was in it for about 2 minutes, 2.5 tops. Oh, wait. As her fake self, like her alter ego. Even that person felt like they didn't get that many lines, but maybe I'm tripping. I don't know. This just was so sad. This is not good. Thumbs down. If you didn't get that, that's where I was going with it.
I've been that's where you were going, but you were like, "Hey, I might surprise you." Yeah, definitely didn't.
I could have, but opted out.
Okay, well, hence the name. This was, you know, it's funny how when he closes the book and puts the book away, the whole thing says Shrek. So, you know, this was their way of closing this out. I liked how it starts with True Love's Kiss and ends with It's a Wonderful Life. Because, you know, the whole story is don't judge a book by its cover, blah, 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 you know, da, 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 da. And now you lose what you had, and now you're getting it back, and you appreciate it. Appreciate, don't judge a book by its cover, and appreciate the things that you have. So you go through all 4 movies. Now, when you see them packaged, then, you know, when you're trying to find them online and things like that, it's hard to find them individually, which is hilarious. That's why there's like a full package of these 4 movies. So individually, I thought it was funny. You know, I keep reverting to the fact that I wonder how it ages because it's definitely not going to hit everybody the same. So, you know, when it comes to this specific movie, clearly I give it a thumbs up. But when it comes to the whole story, just all 4 of them, and this is the reason why I like sequels. I like it. I give it a thumbs up. I'd like to show it to my kids when they pop out.
Well, somebody better be dying.
I'm dying.
That was so funny.
I needed to play that because I need to remember something I laughed at, right? So Shrek 3rd, I couldn't stand. I gave a thumbs down, but I had that scene, and I'll always remember that movie from that scene because that scene was comedy. Where was that scene in this movie? Where was that scene in this movie?
I remember. Okay, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. There was one other part that I did laugh at, and it's when all the ogres were together and they held their noses in on their ears. And Shrek was like, dang, I didn't know we could do that. So funny. But it's like, of course you don't know because you've isolated yourself. But okay, sorry.
So that's fine. Thumbs down. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching us here at Unpopular Review. Make sure you join us on this
Don't
Thursday.
put that on me.
This Thursday for Cujo and next Tuesday for Puss in Boots, as well as Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi's last episode currently right now on YouTube and Miss Marvel. So for eBoogie for closure, I'm the Consultant, and we'll see you next time right here on Popular Review. Good night, everybody.